Whew, okay.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, today's video is very important. We are discussing some urgent matters. Some things that only a select few of us may be ready to discuss at the moment. Meaning, I will be talking about spoilers about Spider-Man No Way Home. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would suggest you leave. And, you know, if you continue watching, I mean, that's your own damn fault. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be talking about everything. So, you know, you got your fair warning. Anyway, guys, I am so excited to talk about this movie. I feel like I have no one to talk about. I can't talk about it on stream. I can't talk about it on social media. I feel like the only way I could talk about it is making a video of all my thoughts and everything that I felt during the movie. It was a fantastic movie, by the way. If you guys have yet to see it, why are you still here? If you have seen it, what did you think? We're going to talk. Comments will be a discussion board. So, just so you know, if you want somewhere safe to talk about spoilers, have a conversation, I am making that space in the comments down below. I want to hear it. I want to hear all your thoughts, your criticisms, maybe your praises, and respecting other people's opinions. Because, you know, I mean, some people may hate it, some people may love it. You know how things are. Never exactly how you want it. But I'm going to talk about my thoughts, okay? I went on my phone literally right when I got home. I saw the movie at 1:45 a.m. I got a theater for me and my family. It was great. And I got back home at 5 a.m. I'm like, okay, I feel like I should make a video about this, but I also don't want to forget everything. So I actually made a little notes here, as you can see, and we have quite a few of them. So I'm pretty much going to be reiterating the thoughts I had at 5 a.m. after seeing the movie. And I'm pretty much going through the entirety of the movie. But let's start off with the general consensus that I have of this movie. Pretty much, I thought it was a 1,000 out of 10 movie. I loved it so much. We got Andrew, we got Toby, we got Tom, we got all of our boys in one place. It was also like great seeing the previous actors for all of the villains, pretty much, other than that one dude that played Venom back in Spider-Man 3. Pretty much all showed up, which was like really exciting and kind of like, yay, everyone, you know, is kind of reprising their role. I think that's the word for it, right? Which was like just really nostalgic, especially because, I mean, if you guys have not seen the videos, I did rewatch all the Spider-Man movies. I mean, before the Tom movies, I watched all the, you know, Andrew and Toby movies as a reaction and re-uploaded them here on the channel. So if you guys want to watch those, they're somewhere. Anyway, point is, I like really loved rewatching those movies. I feel like each of those movies have like characteristics that I just really enjoy so much. You know, the Tobey movies are kind of iconic, especially Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. And you know, the train scene, I love the train scene. The train scene's fantastic. And like, honestly, I think that Spider-Man 2 was my favorite. I mean, other than the Spider-Verse, but if we're talking about live action, Spider-Man 2 was definitely my favorite. It was just magnificent, you know, chef's kiss, beautiful. I loved it. With No Way Home coming through and kind of like seeing, oh my god. Okay, we just gotta talk about the movie. Let's like start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
Being based off the just based off the trailer, I thought that like Doctor Strange was going to be making just a really big like oopsie daisy from doing something very careless with Tom. I'm calling him Tom because, you know, since there's gonna be like 6 million, or there's gonna be 3 Spider-Men I'm gonna be referencing in the movie, I'm just gonna go by their like actor names. If you guys are wondering, why are you calling Peter Parker Tom? All right, I'm calling him Tom because I feel like then we'll be able to know who's who. All right, you know who he is. Yeah, I thought he was just kind of doing the spell to like make him either go back in time or forget everything and like kind of just like, oh yeah, sure, Peter, like you want me to do a spell that's super big and altering, no problem. And like there was consequences to this spell that Doctor Strange would have just ignored, but like that wasn't necessarily the case. I mean, if I'm explaining that properly, I don't know if I'm explaining my like previous, like, I guess, expectations of what happened properly. Like the case was, it was more of like the childishness of Tom and his like naivety, him being naive, which kind of resulted in the spell getting messed up. You know, he was kind of like, oh wait, can you like not let MJ forget me and like my bestie and like my aunt and like the postman, because like I, you know, he knows my, you know, thing too, and I think he's actually kind of cool. You know, he kept like adding in these people, and which then like disrupted the spell and hence kind of left this tear that allowed like the little the villains from previous movies to slip in. And I was like, oh, okay, that like makes more sense, because I'm like, you know, Doctor Strange, like he still is, I feel like, is a little careless. Like, you know, should we really be using these spells in such ways? I mean, in my opinion, like he kind of like pulled up to Tom too and was like, yo, did you even like try to like plead your case? And Tom's like, no. Like he clearly has like a very, what's the word, he's very impulsive and like isn't really thought out, but like it makes sense, he's a teenager, you know what I mean? So I mean he's about to graduate, he's like probably 18 years old, but still, you know, there is like kind of the lack of maturity there. And like you see it when he tries to fix this problem, which is a really sucky problem, by the way. Like, MIT, really, Spider-Man, you see Spider-Man save all these people, you see it happening, you see their grades, why you being like this, MIT, why you being so lame? Anyway, so you know that ended up not working because the spell was about to blow up, and you know shit was about to get looser than it already was. So, you know, then Peter proceeds like, oh yeah, I should probably talk to somebody and plead their like case instead. So, you know, then he goes and finds the MIT lady to like plead for his friends, which was super sweet, and I really like that. And then you see Doc Ock for the first time. He pulls up, you know, he's like stomping and like crushing cars and shit like that. And like he sees Peter, he sees Spider-Man. He's like, you know, he just takes off his not his helmet, like his mask, because you know everyone knows who he is anyway. And Doc Ock's like, you ain't the right one. Like, who the fuck are you?
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
I loved their fight scene between Doc Ock and Tom. I thought it was like really cool. Him saving that family was like super cute. I'm like, damn, Tom, yeah, save that baby, because they were about to die, and so was MIT lady. She was about to die too, but he was able to save her, and he was able to do it by, really interestingly enough, his like nanotech on his suit kind of binding with Doc Ock, and then him being able to control Doc Ock's like arms from that, which was interesting way. Would he have defeated Doc Ock without that though? I don't know. He was gonna get his ass whooped. So I don't think he would have been able to defeat that man. But yeah, I thought that was like really cool, and it kind of like plays on like how old those previous movies were. Like, technology was not the same. Imagined it was not necessarily extremely the same. So like they like said, oh yo, this technology different. And I thought that was like really interesting, because it kind of like created that time stamp, showing like there are different, like not only are there different multiverses, but like it's different times, you know, periods, if that makes sense. Like the technology is not the same. So I thought that was really cool. And I thought it was funny when like the MIT lady came out the car and like fucking scolded Doc Ock, like, girl, if you don't take your ass off this bridge before you die. And then, you know, Green Goblin appears of a little bomb, and that was exciting. And then it was really like cool and like interesting to see how like Doc Ock acknowledged him, and it really like, you know, connected their world. He's like, yo, Osborn? And you were like, yeah, Osborn, let's question that. He's dead. He's supposed to be dead. Once again, like playing on the whole like time and stuff like that. So I like that. I liked them acknowledging. I like the interconnectivity. I'm loving that. All right. So then, you know, Strange was like, oh, we have a way to solve it all. And all Tom had to do was follow the fucking plan. Oh, yeah. Honestly, it was a good plan. Zap, zap. Get them in the little cages. Send them back home. All is well as done. Ship, ship, ship. You know, like, it was pretty straightforward, if you ask me. Peter/Tom, pretty straightforward. So, you know, he tells the plan, and it was, and, you know, Peter went around and go look for people. He found Electro. He found I love Sandman. He's, you know, has such a good heart. You know, he just wants to save his daughter and all that stuff. So, found Sandman. And like, Sandman, literally all he wanted to do was go home. He's like, bro, I don't give a fuck. Just let's go home. And it was like nice to see him like kind of help Peter in a sense, because like Sandman like isn't necessarily like a villain. Like, you know, I feel like I think I'm gonna talk about it later, but I feel like all of them are like just really unfortunate situations that made them become a villain, not because they were inherently evil. You know what I mean? Osborn now kind of having a slight moment of lucidity and clarity. He like kind of bashes his Green Goblin helmet, ends up going to feast, meeting Aunt May, and like Aunt May is like, oh my god, look at this poor soul. And IDK, okay, so I said IDK, why this woman was trying to fix problems that were none of her business. Because, okay, look, Aunt May, I appreciate you wanting to help the needy. Like, that's great. That's fantastic. Like, yes, we need that. You know what I don't appreciate? You convincing this boy Peter that it was his fucking problem. That some random ass man from a whole nother universe, all right, was his problem to fix. I'm like,
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch.
What are you? I was really confused. And like Peter was like, but Aunt May, they from a different multiverse. Like, this isn't my problem. Like, they're dead. And she's like, Peter, they shouldn't be dead. You see this man in need. You're supposed to help him. And I'm like, Aunt May, no. Help him get his ass back home and back in the grave. Like, I wasn't rocking with this part of the movie. I really wasn't. I was kind of like, why though? Like, why though? What difference will this make? You know, like, haven't people seen movies? You're not supposed to alter the space-time continuum. Like, we could like travel back in time and save Kennedy, but then I don't know, the world will explode. You know what I mean? So like, if he dead, he dead. You know, that's just his fate. And that's what Doctor Strange was trying to say. He's like, Peter, no. Send them home, Peter. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this ain't even our problem. Like, it's a whole nother Spider-Man's problem. And you, like, you know? And in the movie, I was like, don't do this, Peter. Don't do this. Send them home. All you gotta do is click a button and send them home. But no, he wants to fucking play rehabilitation therapist teacher and save all of them. Like, what? Don't save them. No. So anyway, I was kind of like, what in the world is going on here? Why are they doing this? It's like, okay. Like, I don't know. I wasn't really vibing with that plot line. I'm like, I was definitely like, this is stupid, but okay. Aunt May don't know what she's talking about. Like, okay. So, you know, then Doctor Strange and Tom get in a little kerfuffle over the fact that Tom doesn't want to send their crazy asses back home. And all Sandman wants to do is go back home. So I'm like, at this point in the movie, all right, I'm just kind of telling you my thoughts throughout the movie. I'm going to sum up my overall thoughts at the end. So this may not be my final opinion when I'm talking about certain moments in the movie, okay? But, yeah, basically, I was like, you know, haven't you heard about when you alter history, they need to go home and die? So, yeah, I was kind of like, but, you know, as we move forward, I just decided to keep an open mind with the plot and, like, try not to let it kind of set me back. So, you know, fast forward, they got everyone, but Peterson wants them back because he wants to save him, and they get into a fight. I love the use of trains, the use of trains. Like I said, Spider-Man 2 was one of my favorite movies, and the train sequence is one of my favorite. I love when they call back to that, so, like, that was fantastic. And he defeats Doctor Strange with math. What a nerd. Am I right? What a fucking nerd. So, yeah, he defeats Doctor Strange with math, and I'm like, okay. And, yeah, the mirror world was cool. It's kind of crazy that Doctor Strange let this little boy beat him, but, you know, it happened, and he got trapped there pretty much for, like, the remainder of the movie to, like, the end. So, they go and try to save everyone. They take him back to Happy's little, you know, condo that he had. Low-key, it was working until it wasn't working. You know, they saved Ock. They were able to use one of Stark's fancy machines to, like, literally do all the work for them and make a new device for Ock and remove the craziness out of him, which was really nice. And, like, he was real cool. But then Green Goblin got to everybody with a little villain pep talk, and everybody, like, you know, Electro was like, fuck this shit. I want to go crazy. He was feeling the energy from Stark's heart, from Tony Stark's heart. I'm like, I know you are not using my boy's heart. That ain't for you. It's a little disrespectful if you ask me. And then, you know, they left Lizard Boy in the car. Dr. Connor's in the car. Like, what? Like, how you not gonna watch? What? And, like, why? He's a villain. Why is he just staying put? You know, like, it was weird. And then, you know, they started fighting. You know, Aunt May was there. Spider-Man was getting his ass beat by the Green Goblin. Like, he was getting his ass beat, y'all. Like, god damn. And then, you know, he gets tackled to the first floor. Green Goblin's beating that ass. And Aunt May tries to, like, kind of stop him. And in the process, Aunt May gets stabbed by Green Goblin's, like, hovercraft. And, you know, she honestly stayed standing for a while. She was like, you know, I'm good. Like, girl, if you don't, she was probably in shock, so I won't, like, harp on her for, like, not speaking up. But, like, I kind of, like, saw her death coming. I don't think in the Spider-Man with Tom Holland, I don't really remember. It's been a while since I've seen the last two movies, but, like, he hasn't really had, like, a death happen in the movies yet for him. And, you know, in Spider-Man's story and his development, you know, he needs somebody to die. Like, somebody gotta die. So, Aunt May's death didn't come as a surprise to me. It's basically the equivalent of Uncle Ben's death. And, you know, it was really sad. I think that, like, Tom's crying face gets me more than anyone else's. I'm like, I mean, I knew she would die, but, like, it was sad. It was sad. And, you know, then that led him to anger and stuff like that. So, yeah. And then one more thing before we move past this. Before Aunt May dies, she used the famous line. You know the line.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, that line. And I don't know, I was kind of like...
I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
because I didn't like the context in which she used that line. She used the line in the context that basically it was his responsibility to fix these villains that are from another dimension. Like universe, not even dimension, a whole nother universe separate to his. And I'm like, why is it his responsibility to save them? It's his responsibility to send their asses home. Like, I feel like I would have maybe resonated more with the plot if it wasn't to save these villains. Like when I say save, like, you know, repair them. I don't know, like, you know, make them a better person. I would have liked it more. It was like hard to like track them down, or he was having difficulty fighting them. And like, you know, it was his responsibility to like round them all up and like, you know, take them back home. But she was saying it's his responsibility to cure them. Like, I'm like, what? He ain't a doctor. He ain't a psychiatrist. Like, why is this his responsibility? Like, this ain't what Spider-Man be doing. He don't be saving people from another, like, multiverses. Send their asses home. You know what I mean? So I was very, like, I love the use of the line, but I didn't love the use of the line's context. And I was kind of, like, not really excited about her using it anymore. I'm like, it's kind of lame. Kind of lame, you know what I mean? So that was my thoughts about that in Aunt May. I'm like just that plot line. I just, you know, like saving them, like really, I feel like it's just like it's a noble thing, yes, but I feel like in the end, like, what does it amount to? What does it result to for Peter? I feel like if it was more like trying to save his home, trying to save New York from all of these villains running rampant and send their asses home, okay. But I don't know. I don't know about the save their save their mentals. I don't know, man.
Like, what's up, danger?
Cut to MJ and his best friend, and his best friend, you know, has, like, the ability to use the same magic that Doctor Strange does with the ring that he was able to get from him. Basically, he was, like, making portals, calling out for Peter. And, like, it calls out Peter. He's wearing a full suit. And, like, you know, he's kind of looking through the portal. He's here calling Peter Parker. And now, at this moment, you know, they've never, like, confirmed that, like, Andrew and Toby were in the movies. They never confirmed it. They kind of kept it in the air. Andrew and Toby are like, no, we're not gonna do it, blah, 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 you know? So I kind of, like, I didn't have my expectations that they would be there. I really didn't. I wanted to be realistic and, like, kind of just not set myself up for failure. And when this man stepped through the portal, because, like, they could have just, like, acted like, oh, that's not Peter. Close it up real quick and, like, not really show Andrew. Bro, Andrew walked through the fucking portal and I screamed. I'm like, I can't believe it. And then, like, I love the little jokes that they had, like, trying to, like, test out Andrew to see if he's really a Spider-Man, having him hang on the ceiling and all that stuff. And then they do the same thing again, and Toby walks through the motherfucking portal. And they're like, yo, it was funny because they were like, Toby, you look like an old man. Like, you know, you look a mess. So yeah, that was great. Jokes are great. I liked how they gave Peter advice. You know, they both lost people. Andrew losing Gwen and Toby losing Uncle Ben. And, you know, they also called back to Aunt May also saying the same line with the great responsibility, or great power and great responsibility and stuff like that. So, like, that was really cool. It was nice to see them kind of lend Tom an ear and kind of explain how he shouldn't let his anger, like, turn into something bad, and he should, like, learn to control it and kind of use it for good and stuff like that. So that was great. And then, you know, the scene where they, like, go to, like, make all of the antidotes to save all the people was a really cute scene. I liked how they made the jokes about like telling their name apart, where the best friend was like Peter, and they were like all stand up and like, oh, me, and then he was like Peter Parker, and they were like, we're all Peter Parker, you know, like it was funny. It was funny. And then I also did like kind of tap into both Toby and Andrew's life at the moment. Like Toby talked about his relationship with MJ, and Andrew talked about how he like was in a relationship but like he wasn't sure. So like I like that conversation. I feel like it just kind of solidifies like their universe and like how things are still moving and progressing, although it's like, you know, been some time since we've seen those movies. So like I thought that was really cute. The fight scene with everyone, all of the villains. First, you know, it was a mess because they're not used to working with people. I mean, Spider-Man has been solo for both Toby and Andrew. I liked how Tom recalled, you know, working with the Avengers, and everyone's like, who the fuck's the Avengers? Which is great too, because, you know, they weren't, not like, those Spider-Mans were not part of the MCU universe. So like I thought that was funny, and like, you know, Tom using his knowledge of like working as a team to help them kind of coordinate themselves was really cool. Oh, and I also thought it was super cute how like everyone was like talking about the worst villains they've ever had. The worst villains they ever had, and like Toby and Tom talked about aliens, and then Andrew was like, oh yeah, I'm lame because like I've only fought like a Russian and a rhino suit. And then Toby kept saying, oh, no, you're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. Obviously playing on the fact that his Spider-Man movies were called The Amazing Spider-Man. So I thought that was funny. And I liked that. I love the little, like, the little inserts, the jokes, the anecdotes of, like, all their movies. I feel like, I'm like, man, this is perfect. Like, this is great. And then, anyway, back to the fight. They save Sandman first, which I don't know if they saved him first. Honestly, I don't recall. Maybe I was right when I typed this, but I'm not sure. Save Sandman warmed my heart, because, you know, Sandman has a daughter who was sick. He just wanted to like get money to save her and stuff like that. So like I love Sandman. I feel he has a really good heart. I mean, they all do, you know what I mean? But yeah, so love Sandman. Happy they saved him. So you can finally see his daughter, and then Lizard Man went crazy chasing after MJ. So she ended up being in the same area as, you know, cause the portal, you know, you saw the movie. So, you know, they got there. That got them into the scene. Electro got caught by Oct, which was, you know, great. Like, I like seeing Oct participate. You know, he got Electro, held him down, switched, like, fixed him up. Appreciated that. And then, you know, Lizard Man made a comeback too. He got saved. And like I liked how each Spider-Man kind of had their moments with their respective villain, like, you know, having a heart, like Toby being like, yo, what's up, Sandman? What's up to well, yeah, I think it was just Toby with Sandman. I think Dr. Connors was Andrew. And Andrew, you know, had his what's up with Dr. Connors, and also, you know, talked to Electro a little bit, which I liked that they had those conversations. And then Green Goblin, this is the moment I was fucking waiting for, because I'm gonna be honest, I did see a TikTok of someone like predicting this. Like, they haven't seen anything. They were just kind of like, oh, this will be super cool if they were actually in the movie and this happened. When Green Goblin came and knocked everything down, and like MJ was falling to her death, Tom went to go save her. He got booted the hell out by the hovercraft and like Green Goblin. And then Andrew went to go, like, the same scene paralleling to the Gwen Stacy scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Andrew goes to save her. Instead of like kind of like her fall with the web on her, he pulls her up into his hands and lands. And he's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm getting like freaking shivers just thinking about it. And she's like, yeah, and then he's like like freaking tears forming in his eyes. I'm like, oh my god, like,
Wow, that was so powerful. Academy Award.
like, he couldn't save Gwen, but like he learned from his mistakes and saved MJ. I'm like, stop. It was fantastic. Love that parallel. My heart, you know. And then, you know, Green Goblin and Peter fight, and then Peter's letting out his anger. He beating Green Goblin's ass, about to kill him. But, you know, and then Toby saves him or stops him, and then Toby gets stabbed, but like he's all right. And you know, he cures Green Goblin instead and saves them all, and all to have everyone forget him because it's the only way to fix everything. The only way to fix it all was to just have Dr. Strange completely erase everybody's memory of him, because that was the only way to be able to get people back. Because I you know, if you remember in the movie, the only reason why these villains were coming through was because these were the villains that knew the identity of Spider-Man. So him saying goodbye was really, really sad. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to cry. And like the fact that he went to go reintroduce himself to MJ and his best friend, but he saw how happy they were being in MIT, and like didn't want to ruin that for him anymore, and he leaves. I'm like, oh, Peter. And then, like, you see, he ends up at his a rinky-dink apartment in NYC with the police scanner. I'm like, oh, typical. Because, you know, that's where all the Peters end up. So I'm like, that's kind of full circle, just like his fellow Spider-Man. And that was the end of the movie. That was my thoughts throughout the movie. I know a lot of them. I hope you are enjoying listening to me ramble. But overall, I really did think it was an amazing movie. The first half kind of iffy, not gonna lie. I feel like after Aunt May died, it was like, this is it. This is a fucking masterpiece. Given, like, once I saw all the movie, like, it's really nice to see the villains, like, be saved, because like they like I said earlier, like they're not evil, you know. They are just messed up by falling in a, you know, bin of eels or a radioactive thing, or like trying to save themselves from a sickness, and like that giving them deranged effects, trying to grow an arm back and then turning into a lizard, you know, trying to help their brain but then getting controlled by some big arms, you know. Like, I feel like they are not inherently evil, so it's nice to see them safe, because that's all they really needed in the beginning, but that didn't happen. Now, what does this mean for the future? I don't know. I know that this movie does slightly deal with Loki, and from the one episode of Loki I remember seeing, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to alter these things. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know what will happen. I kind of gotta finish that show. Maybe I'll understand the movie more. But I don't think that what he did was good. I don't know what him changing these paths will do in next movies. I think we are getting more movies. But, you know, like, so, like, with them now going back home, are they saved? Are they still dead? Are they alive? Like, I feel like there either has to be a consequence or, like, something that happens from this, because I don't know, like, he really could have just sent their asses home. I don't know. I think that it was really nice to see them, but, like, I feel like it would have been, like, maybe more fun for me if they, like, either got overpowered with the new technology, so he needed the help from the other Spider-Man to defeat them, or you know, to send them back home because they're a lot harder to capture than they thought. Like, this whole saving them thing, I don't know. It's just like why though? You know, like, what do we gain from this? So we'll see. We'll see. But I did love the movie. I did. It was just fantastic to see, like, all the other Spider-Man movies, like, come into one. Like, it's like a freaking Spider-Man fan dream to just see it all in one space. Like, that meme is like IRL. It's great. I love it. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie in the comments down below. I know I rambled on for a very long time, so I appreciate you listening. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're new here, definitely subscribe. I do like movie reactions and stuff. This is kind of my first time talking about a movie and like not watching it. I wouldn't call this, let me just say, I wouldn't call this a professional review. I am just a girl who talks a lot and wanted to share my thoughts. I am no professional whatsoever. So if you're expecting a critical analysis, you went to the wrong one. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. So, bye!